All right, let's do this. Let's do it. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. One and all. I'm taking my liquid white covering the top of my canvas because we have to have it nice and wet in order for it to work. So let's take our liquid white, streak it down in between these trees. Not trying to cover all of them just yet. Not just yet, right? I like to show you every single thing that we do in these videos so there is no confusion, there's no worry that I'm doing something that you're not. I literally show you every single thing to do. So we're taking our liquid white, covering over our canvas. Now, how did we get our canvas looking like this? That's a whole nother question. We took our Liquitex black gesso, covered over our entire canvas along the bottom, and then sort of made our tree shapes in that acrylic paint. Let it dry. Gotta let it dry all the way. It takes like 10-15 minutes for the whole thing to be dry and ready to put paint on. And then when I come to our black section, we cover that in liquid clear, so it's all wet. You see the reflection of me. See my brush in there? Reflection of the brush in the canvas. Crazily wet. And then we come up here and we put our white on, and that's the last part of the process. We don't want to get any of the white down into the black section because you can see just how bright it gets by dragging it over our trees. Just how bright that white will turn our dark. And we want to keep our dark nice and dark. That's why we have the darkness. Little half and half canvas today. It's going to be awesome. So, you guys are going to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwiches? And now that we're all nice and wet, let's grab some colors and get ready to go. We probably don't have enough paint on the palette. So, let's wash off this brush, see where everyone's watching from, and then we'll have a grand old time. Remember, you can get this painting if you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com. Or it may be on paintwithjosh.com. Could be over there on paintwithjosh.com. Go check it out. So, if you end up wanting to buy this one, it's number 1006. That's the number you're going to want to search for when you get over to the store. 1006. It's amazing. Never in my life did I think we'd reach 1,000 paintings. That's incredible. Incredible. All right, let's get a little of our black. Just about the last of the black in the whole tube, right? Not much left in there. A little black. Let's do a 5-color scene today, I think. We'll do red and blue and crimson and black and white. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. Gonna be beautiful. So, jeez Louise. Trying to finish dinner real quick, get up here and paint for everybody. I'm sure my hair's poked out the front of my hat like I look ridiculous, but it's okay. It's all right. Where are we going? Get a fresh tube of white. Let's get our red out onto the palette. It's got to have some red if we're going to do red. A little of that. I only like the red touching the sky, really. So it's not a whole lot of red in the painting for sure. Now, where's my crimson tube? That's the question. Oh, crimson tube. Oh, there we go. I thought I was almost out, and I was like, no way did I use the last of it and not remember that I used the last of it. Get out of here. Okay, let's come in here. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Now we've got our 5 colors in probably, good big piles of paint. Like, you know what I mean? 50-cent piece size piles. Big giant coin pile. Throw that down there, and I'll show you what we've got to do today. So our bright red over here versus our alizarin crimson, which is a much darker red. Phthalo blue, midnight black, titanium white. That's Prussian blue. We may end up using a little bit of that. But for the most part, let's keep it with those 5 colors. I love doing 5-color scenes, little winter scenes. It's going to be beautiful. A little waterfall coming down, some snowy, grassy covered bushes. It's going to be amazing, you guys. So let's come in here and let's grab a little of our red first. Let's come into the red. Grab up some red onto the brush. Now, depending on how much red you grab onto your brush, depends on how bright it is into our sky, right? So we come up here, let's add that little touch of red just right in there, wherever. It doesn't have to be super dark. Doesn't have to be the brightest, reddest thing you've ever seen. The more red paint that you add on there, the brighter red it will be, right? Take a little of our crimson as well. Gonna work our way out of that red into that darker crimson-y paint. And now we're gonna wanna keep maybe just a little white area over here, mix it in with our blue. Come around the blue side. Oh yes. Gorgeous little scene. Now this is a big old Pro Series 3 canvas that will end up looking really nice on your wall without having a frame on it. So, no need to frame these big old guys if you don't want. I mean, you could go get a big old expensive frame and do it that way if you wanted to, but there's really no need to do it like that. I'm gonna drop a little bit of our paint down here, just a little across our trees over there, and that's it. That's our whole sky. All done. You're probably looking at this going, this dude's like a 4-year-old. Like, what do you mean all done? We can't be done yet. There's no way this is done. You're right. I mean, it's not done. We have to blend it out still. But for the most part, we drop our colors on there, and with our pressure, we can decide how far we want our blue to streak in, how dark you want to have your painting. It's all up to you. Let's take our brush, get it all washed off, and then we'll come back and hit it with that pressure, the second P of Paint with Josh. We always talk about the 3 Ps. But a lot of times we never talk about the 3 Ps all at the same time. The 3 Ps are the amount of paint that we put on the brush or on the canvas, our amount of pressure that we go to blend it with, and what's that last P, guys? Anybody know the last P of Paint with Josh? Can you tell me in the comments, what's the last P of Paint with Josh? Who knows? Who knows what it is? Anybody? Let's see. Thank you for the follows, guys. Jess G says practice. 100% correct. Practice is the last P of Paint with Josh. Applause from the crowd. Practice, right? Now let's take our clean, dry brush that we just cleaned. Let's come into our lightest area first and just kind of maybe grab some of that white right around the edge. Just really brighten it up. And then as we come down here into our red and we're crisscrossing back and forth, it's constantly mixing with that liquid white that's on the canvas. And so you'll have all these little different hues. Now we're not trying to blend it all to where it's all exactly the same. That's not what we want to do. Maybe down here you blend it and you blend it and you blend it until you just can't really tell where the pink stops, where the blue begins, and it's back and forth all over the place. And that'll give you a really cool looking sky, in my opinion. All right, now watch this. The more that we drag over these trees, the harder they become to see, pushing them further off in the distance. Adding depth to our painting. Fantastic, right? Now watch, the more and more that we drag that blue, it's going to want to get darker and darker, and our red sky is going to shrink and shrink and shrink. So we decide how much paint we're going to pull across it. Who knows? If we want to bring our trees right back out of the depths, we can. We can go back and pull them right back out, just add a little paint to them, right? Bring them out into the foreground. Look at that. Very cool. Now, this brush has so much blue paint on it that it's continually shrinking our little red center in our sky. So let's go clean that brush off. Get all the paint off of that sucker, right? Beat the devil out of the brush, because you got to. You got to beat the devil out. It comes nice and clean. And then I always go dab it off on a paper towel. And I'm talking about smash it. Boom, boom, boom. Hit it on a paper towel. Just like that, guys. Now, let's see what we got going. Now, before I forget, because some of the times I do forget, when you apply that liquid clear to our canvas, we have to go back and wipe off the excess because it's too much. You don't want to have too much of our clear paint all over our canvas, right? Now, the more we wipe it off, the slicker it becomes. It's very much like syrup in the beginning, right? It's very sticky. And then the more and more that you wipe it away, the slicker it becomes, and that's what you need it for. Now, let's come back up here with our clean, dry brush. We dabbed off on a paper towel. Let's go back into our lightest area first. Start crisscrossing right at the edge, right where we get those little bits. Right, we can take some of that color, pull it out over here. Just stretch it a bit further. Who knows? Right, blend it, blend it, blend it, blend it, blend it softly, softly. It's gonna come in. It's gonna change the look of our whole sky, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be the most perfectest of reds, right? Or the most prettiest of pinks. And let it blend, and once you have the smallest amount just all pushed out as far as we can get it, you can literally go side to side across the whole canvas and not do anything, right? If you want to push this guy a little bit harder, blend them in a little bit more, right? Back and forth. Just like that, soft. Blend it. Blend it down, right? Now, let's come in and throw some awesome clouds over the top of that guy. And when I'm talking about awesome clouds, I'm talking about awesome clouds, right? We're gonna come in here, we're gonna grab up some of our white onto our brush, just like this. Dabbing it in there nice and thick, right? We always use more paint on a white canvas than we do on a black canvas. And say, what if we had this far off little guy? And he was just coming in, popping in through here. That's all. Little puff of paint. All you gotta do, right? Take our brush, even the same brush that we were using before, and all you gotta do is dab it off on a paper towel. That's it. Dab it off like that, come back up here and start twisting and rotating all of that paint around, right? Judging on how thick it is in our brush, we can feel it. If you go across a thick area, it will grab your brush and it will stick, right? That's how you know you gotta blend out maybe a little bit more in that section. And the more and more you come down, the further and further it gets, the farther you spread that chunky paint out, the more soft little clouds we're gonna have back there. Very, very cool. Taking our brush like this. Remember, you can go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com and purchase this one for just under $300. Just under that, right? Maybe come back in here, take this guy, spark across just the end of that cloud, up through here, up through the whole blue section, twisting the brush, rotating it. Maybe we'll wipe the brush on a paper towel, come back in here, load up a little bit more white, and then maybe down in there. You gotta have a place for our white to kind of grow together, right? It doesn't want to be all out there all alone. Maybe we even have more of it out here. A little puff, little something, little wherever you want it to be. Totally up to you. Come back in. You can either start from this side, or you can start from this side. We can do both. We can aerobics all across the thing, right? Come in here, grab up our paint, start bringing our bottom up to the top and the top down to the bottom, and we mix and we pull and we're spreading it and we're pushing it. And it's just getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Lighter and lighter, but look at that space that we left in between the two bits. Get a lot of shadowing in there. Lots of shadowing can be found in between the clouds if you just leave a little space of paint back in there, right? Look at that sucker! That's fantastic. 100% just love it. Now, even though we did all these pretty clouds, and I didn't want to do so many, right? Because I was thinking about putting a giant mountain in this painting, and we still could. We could still pop a big old mountain in here, but since these clouds are just looking so pretty, I don't know that a mountain is gonna fit. Oh, it's just so nice. Already so nice, right? Blending down, the more brightness that we get over that thing, the more kind of hazy fogginess we're gonna have back in there. All right, blend it down. We'll bring this little tree guy back out all so easily. All right, but what do we want to see? Do we want to see a big old mountain back in here, kind of covering up some of our clouds, or we just go with a forest, maybe? Just a big old mountain or a faraway forest. What do you want to see? What do you want to see? What? Oh, the corn! Extra butter! What do you guys want to see? Make sure if you're watching over on YouTube, you give me a thumbs up. Gotta give me a thumbs up over there on YouTube. We got forest, 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 faraway forest, mountain, forest, forest. Let's see. Mountain, forest, forest, mountain, forest, forest, mountain, forest, mountain, 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 forest. It seems like it's pretty well split down the middle. So, you know what? Let's do a forest. You thought I was going to say mountain. All right, let's come over here. We need the same colors either which way. Whatever we do, let's grab a bit of blue, a little bit of black, and a little bit of crimson. I'm going to ask you those three colors later on. So I hope you were paying attention about what this guy's like falling down. It's going to fall off my palette if we're not careful. So, I'm going to ask you later on, so I hope you were paying attention at what those three colors are, and I'm sure you'll be able to find it in our comments, because there's about 1 million people that know what those three colors are, right? Now, let's take a big old fan brush. We're going to run it through that dark paint. Doesn't need to be, a super big fan brush. Doesn't have to be the smallest fan brush. I always get the question, what size is that? It doesn't matter. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. Because each brand sizes their numbers differently, so it doesn't matter what size it is, honestly. Okay, let's come back over here. Let's pop in a few little faraway little guys way back there. Right, maybe we come down, we pop up, come down, maybe we go up again, and we come down again. So it's not just this crazy straight line of trees off in the distance. It's a little heartbeat monitor. It's back and forth, up over here, down over there. Doesn't matter what was back there to begin with. Doesn't matter if you want to cover over all your trees that we had in the front. You do whatever it is you want to do. Nothing matters except for what you want. Now, let's take those guys over there. We'll just go lighter and lighter because we're going to end up mushing them anyway. Now, around the bottom, we're going to need a bit more of our color to block out everything that was back there. Right? All the bit of color in our sky, every little piece at the bottom has to be filled in very thick versus up here you can leave little gaps and little things for our trees. All right, so let's say we come back with our 2-inch brush like that and grab it, a little bit of firmness because you want them to drag up, right? You want to get them to streak a little bit into our sky. Makes them look really neat. Get these couple little things, little tip tops of our trees. Very cool looking, right? Now we take the same brush, so we only use the one side. Now we're going to start tapping at it like this. And as we tap it, we're going to bring it down a little. We're going to go back up, we're going to grab it, bring it down. Back up, grab it, bring it down. A couple little taps. All we're doing, tip tapping. Tap, 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 right? The only thing that this is doing is softening the paint for the next layer. If you don't do this in between, it's much more difficult to get your paint to stick on top and stick on top and stick on top and stick on top. It's going to be harder and harder and harder for us to do that. All right, so you have to soften our paint in between each little layer. Come in and we make it soft, right? So back in here, and we take this guy and we just mix it up. Got a soft little cloud back in here at the base of our trees. Can't tell me where the beginning is, where the base of them are, how far it comes out, right? Where anything is, really. It's awesome. Just awesome. Now, let's come back. We need to make up a bit more color because I never make up enough. I don't know about you guys, but here's your second chance to know what are those 3 colors that we mix up when we want to make a nice, deep, dark mixture. What are those colors? Tell me in the comments, because I already told you what they were. I already gave you the answer. Right? Once I give you the answer, I can't tell you again. I can't just go give you the answer every single time you ask. Let's see, blue, black, and crimson says Phthalo. Excellent job, everyone. Excellent. Now, let's come in. We've got our faraway trees on the side that didn't get covered up. Right? So we're going to wiggle our brush down through our paint, getting it all over the place. And let's see, depending on where we bring it down. There was our one tree. It was a little further off in the distance, and maybe we might be able to see him just one day. So let's go back here, pop our guy in like that. Now, as we come in and we smack up with just the corner, right? We're not touching the whole brush to the tree. Just the corner bit, that's it. Little corner, and as we go down, we push harder and harder and harder, and we start turning our hand more towards the center so the brush can make contact down here. We get the whole brush, and we're smushing out side to side, coming over here, up at this angle, maybe up at that angle, however you want your little tree to look, and you got a fat little upward facer back here, right? Just the cutest little Christmas tree. I want him in my house. Again, it's just the base shape. It's not the end result. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about what he looks like right now, right? We're going to go back and add little things to him. So let's come back in. We'll get more paint on our brush, maybe next to him, but not so far away that they're going to reach out and touch tips of their brushes like that, right? Bring it in till maybe this guy, maybe he's a little taller, comes down right where the trunk of the tree is on the edge of these branches. That way they will have to overlap. Trees out in the wilderness do not like being apart from each other. They want to be next to each other. Like, hey, you're getting water and growing. I want to grow too. Therefore, I'm going to come steal all of your water. That's what they do. And they come in and they grow, and then one plant will overtake another plant and force it out. Right? That's just how the circle of plants works. Yes, circle of plants. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. All right, now let's come back in and let's see what that guy looks like. If we grab into take our 1-inch brush and grab into the base of the trees, we can just start to slide it out this way. We'll grab this guy and we'll pull him out in the opposite direction, just creating a little bit of land in that darker color. We can start to see what does it look like. Maybe, just maybe, if we got enough of this darkness up here, maybe we could make like a little rock off in the distance, right? Just having a little of that dark paint, helping it feed back in, right? And we'll brush this guy out a little bit just to dump some darkness back there. But down here in our deep, darkest area, you don't have to put that much paint. All you want to have is something back there to grab onto our highlights, okay? So, and what we really want to focus on is that top line, right? Whatever the edge looks like. So you want to have it be a little crazier, a little bumpier, not so flat. Whatever you want to do, up to you. Right? We'll come back in with our knife, and let's go crazy. Let's say all of our light is going to come from the left-hand side, which will be gorgeous. So let's make up some snowy color. This is going to be an ice-cold, snowy scene. As last Friday, we did like a summer waterfall. So this is going to be an ice-cold scene. So we'll take our blue and our white, mix in a little bit of our original mountainous tree color, that 3 dark color mix. Excuse me, ladies, I'm so sorry. I had to get that out, though. It's been bothering me. There we go. Now, taking that dark light blue, right? It's like a lightish bluish color, a little dark, nothing too crazy. We don't want it to be the same color as this back here. We want it to stand out. So let's maybe grab a little touch of it, drag it across those little bits, and maybe off on the side, the right side, we'll have little pieces of shadow back in there. Just by dragging the knife over, letting it grip onto whatever other color paint was there. Right, and then maybe, just to show you what it might look like, a bit of white, a little teeniest touch of that blue, just so it stays super bright. See the difference? It's not pure white, right? We know I just touched it with the blue color. So it's not pure white, but it's not too dark of a blue either. And then this will come off the edge, stick to the sides, icy cold, maybe slides down in front like that, right? Just a crazy little thing. Maybe jag it over, across the side, pick up a little bit more, grab it down in here. Not trying to connect every single bit. You can leave unpainted areas. They're very deep, dark shadows. You don't have to cover every single thing. Right? Slide that guy down like that. And all of a sudden, we're starting to build this crazy little rocky outcropping over here. And then what if, just what if there was a little tree that lived right in front of all these guys on a little angle, just like that. It doesn't have to be a straight up tree. It could be a little leaner. He's a leaner. Leans over this way, and you can tell automatically that there's not enough paint, at least I can tell, there's not enough paint on my brush to fill that tree as thick as I want it to be. So we've got to come back up in here, scrape up that paint, and then stick it on there, making sure that it's nice and textury. You gotta have those textury bits. That way it'll stay dark, right? Can't have any of that sky color showing through, not in too many places anyway. It'll stay nice and dark. And now we got a fat little tree right on the edge of that outcropping of rocks. Fabulous. Just fabulous, darling. Oh, I love it. A little bit of our bushy brush in here. A couple little bushes that living around the edge. And then just because I'm crazy like that, why don't we come in over here and let's pop in just a little, that crazy little sticky branchy tree out there. Right? Gives me a chance to use the 147-foot long paint with Bram liner brush. This liner brush is the longest liner brush in human history. It fathoms the deep and boggles the mind at the length of this liner brush as we come through with our odorless mineral spirits, and we just start attaching and dropping off the smallest, craziest, sharpest little branches you've ever seen. All thanks to the Paint with Bram liner brush. 198 million foot long Paint with Bram liner. It's fantastic. Paint with Josh approved. Bam, just like that. Look at that brush. Look what this brush does. Sure, it's 97 feet long, but it leaves the sharpest little branches on those trees. Man, it's cool. That is a brush and a half. Very neat. Now, since we're over here on this, we've got the color on the palette. Let's grab some of that snowy bit. We're going to come on to the right side of our tree only and just touch little pieces. Doesn't even have to go all the way to the top. Just little bits. And a little bit of that light color. All we're looking for. Right? Don't want to cover up all the dark because then our tree won't be very round. It'll be very flat if you cover up all that darkness. Which is not what we want to do. Little bits. Little bits. Fantastic. Okay, now let's decide what's happening from back here. Right? Maybe, perhaps, I'm thinking in my brain there's going to be a frozen cold little river, and in that case, we're going to have to take a lot of dark blue paint and lay out our undercolors. Right? So maybe we had our river come out this way, maybe he fell. Little falls right there. Oh, little river falls. Right? We come out, we're laying it down. It's like a sketch. We're sketching out what we want the river to look like. So we come out here, right? Falling over the side, maybe a little further than normal, just in case. Just in case. And then take up that blue. Maybe we hit down here into a whole nother section of river, getting wider and wider as it flows away from its original point. Right? Bigger strokes, longer, longer, longer. And then what if we had a second little falls right over here? Dump this guy down, right? Our water in here. Spill it over the edge as far as you want. Then maybe there's another little bit of water down in here. Who knows? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out by the time that we get there. All right? Just phantasmic. But all you got to do is lay that color down underneath. And then when we hit it with our white paint, it's going to light up like water, and you're just going to be, whoop! Did you see me just bounce that off of the canvas? There's the dark mark to prove it right there. Holy cow. Woo! Settle down, guys. Settle down. Come back in here, a little bit of white on the brush. Just a touch. Now, we're not going to use the whole brush. You just want to maybe see a little bit of water as it starts to streak out and get wider and wider, and boom! Right? And then all of a sudden, maybe it hit a certain point, starts flowing back, and then goes right over our little waterfall spot. Okay, we don't want to show too much water right here, so we're going to have to put like a rock or something to cover up where the water bends. Right? Since I like that so much, let's add a little bit more paint and really solidify it in with that brightness. Right? I don't like it to be too bright until I know exactly what I'm going to do. Because you can always go back and blend it out if it was kind of dark. If it was kind of light, you know what I mean? Like a faded kind of color. But when it's really bright, it's very hard to blend away. That looks very cool. Say we came down here and we smacked right at the base of our waterfall. A little bit of falling water, right? We come back with our 1 or 2 inch brush, whatever you want to do. You grab it up very lightly, start to mix it out. The further and the more pressure that we push, the more we can push it to the edge. Right? Maybe we grab this guy over here. Little mixy mix. Draggy, draggy. Come over this side. Little touches, little bits. Not gonna see every single piece of the waterfall all the time, or every single piece of its little shadow down there, right? Not gonna see it all. Now, what we want to do, for me anyway, what I like to do is keep a small little piece of darkness underneath. Now, obviously, that's too big, right? If we had our water start way down here and start moving back and forth, it'd be a little bit too big. So if we bring it up just a little, right? Just right underneath that little bit of mistiness, so you have the teeniest, tiniest line. Now, with these guys, you can literally make it wider and wider and wider as we come across the side. Dragging a little bit of paint, because we're going to go back and cover over bits of it anyway. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Whatever we don't like, we can go back and cover. Right, so go back and forth, and then maybe, like I was saying, if the water came back and hit over there again, it rocketed over to the side and fell out, just like that. Falling out, and we'll have a whole other bunch of rocks in here. Look really cool. Bring our water out like this. Make it all make sense in our brains, right? And then we're going to have that extra bit down at the bottom, so we'll put that guy in over here. Add our couple little splashies, and then all of a sudden, guys, we've laid out our entire scene, and now we got to go back and fill in little pieces, right? Little bits. Where are we going to add our bushes and our rocks and our trees and our vines and our little flowers and whatever? We've laid it out. That way, we sort of set ourselves up for success. Right? Just like that, flatten them out a little bit. Come in here, soften this paint out. We're never going to see all the water all the way around, so don't worry about it. We're going to have this whole other bit of mountain come down and cover over this whole section. It's going to be awesome, right? I can see it already in my brain, guys. Perfect. Just perfect. Just perfect. Okay, now, let's come back in. Let's grab that Paint with Bram 1 inch brush. Okay, we're going to go into our white, a little bit of the blue, because we don't want it to be pure white. Let's just see what it looks like if we try to make a little bit of frozen grassy colors as we start popping out down here. We want them to be separate from our river, right? So in order to do that, we kind of have to work it in little, kind of like a typewriter, back and forth, leaving little things. Maybe we get to the edge and we can drop down a bit of grass hanging over the side. A little closer, drop down a bit of grass. Keep that darkness though, that in-between space, in between our colors, because we're only using the same colors, right? We got 5 colors to use. We don't want to use too many. Turn the brush, drop it off. Over to the side, turn it, drop it over again, just like a typewriter. Or underneath, turn it, drop it again. Typewriter, guys, typewriter. You know what that is? It's an ancient technology that they used to use back in the day. It looked like a keyboard. Imagine that. Okay, if you can imagine, it looked like a keyboard, right? And it was this thing that had all the buttons to make all the words in the English language. And you would press one of the keys and it would make an imprint of the letter on the screen. It was such high technology back in the day. Oh my! What are we doing with ourselves today? I mean, when's the last time we invented anything as cool as a typewriter? Never. All right, maybe the iPhone is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Just a little, right? We'll come back. We're adding just a little bit more paint, brightening it up in areas that we want it to be bright in. This whole little grassy knoll is in the light on this side. You see it rolling down. We can add more trees. We can add more rocks. You can do whatever you want to do. Maybe we came back on this side, and in the faraway distance, way back there, start rocking it up into that mist. See how there's nothing underneath it until we build it. If you build it, they will come, just like a typewriter. Pop, 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 pop. Right around the edge. You can seal everything all the way in. So simple. The paint with brand brush. Get one. Get yours today. Come over here. Turn the brush, rotate it down. Hang down those little baby bits. Just with the corner. Look at the angle. Right? It's not flat. Up here like this. Dripping down little baby bits as they come down the side. How far do you want them to hang over the edge? It's up to you. How dark do you want it to be? How much do you want it to fill in? I don't ever want to cover over all the dark space. Leave little bits, little lines, little dark separators everywhere, right? Everywhere. Now right here, it's kind of funky, right? There's too much paint to apply the grass. It just keeps getting lighter and lighter, and it doesn't really look like the rest of the grass, right? So this is what you can do in that instance. You can come in either with a fan brush or your palette knife, whatever you're more comfortable with, really. And then let's just chuck in a big old giant rock. Gotta cover all the darkness, all the light, right? Out there, mushing it over wherever our little guy is coming from, and we take him back, we slide him back this way. Little darkness to stand out away from all of that light, right? Now we can come back in with our palette knife, grabbing our lighter bluer color, our shadowy bit, as we whip it around down in there. Grab that lighter snowy color off the top of the guy. Just little places. Little bits of light, little different things, all you need. There we go. Get enough paint on my brush and my knife. There we go, right in there. Lay it down, streak it over. Maybe it falls off that side, right? I never like it to be such a perfect straight up line, so jiggle it around a little. Make it all crazy looking. That looks cool. It's catching all the light on this side, all the shadow on the other side. Very neat. Now we can come back with our little grassy brush, come back in here and cover over some of those little bits and kind of work that grass up into itself, right? Into its little rocky guy, just like so. And then I pop in a couple little darker areas like that as well. Very cool. Just little baby bits of darkness in there. I mean, we could throw a big old giant bush off of the thing as well. We could do that and hang it down off of the side. You can't just have your light. You gotta have some bits of dark in there as well. See the difference? So we added that bit of darkness back in there. Very cool, guys. Very cool. So, let's see. You guys are gonna tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwiches? Because I gotta know. Now we're gonna add another tree back here. Maybe a little sticky guy on the side. Help us build our scene as it's coming towards us, right? Very cool. Very cold, little crispy little scene. We got tacos, turkey and cheese, Peggy Osborne says, lovely work. Thank you, Peggy. I can't wait to see you at the next class in Tennessee. Smoked pulled pork. Ooh. Ooh, you guys. All right, now we need to mix up a lot more dark color because we never mix up enough. So a bit of our crimson, black, and blue. You guys already know the tricolor mix. The triness of colors that you need in order to make that deep, dark shadow. It's deep, it's dark, and it's a shadowy mix. Right, as we come down, we wiggle our brush down through that deep, dark mix, getting it all over the paintbrush. Then we're going to come in and let's say, who knows, maybe off back here, there was a little guy, just a little way out there, across the edge of the river bank. Pop in a little thing, because he's not too crazy, right? He doesn't have to be so humongous. He's out there just chilling, out in the night. Out in the night. And here, just tap around the base, just to kind of help him blend into the grassy bits, and all of a sudden it's looking really cool, right? And come over here, let's take one of our guys and just make him real big. Come in like this. Right there. Just crazy large, right? And we'll come back and we're going to start smacking up at the canvas again, right? The more that we go down, the more that we push in, the more that we're depositing paint on the canvas, right? Starting with just the tip of the brush, and then as we go outward and down, we're going out further and further, and then you come back in, you pop out a little bit more, you pop out a little bit more, you pop out a little bit more. And what you do is you go back and you fill in all those little spaces. I'm just doing it all in one go. All right, we're coming in, we're smashing it. It's getting fatter as it goes down. You can see I've only done the one side of the tree because you guys can't really see it when I do this side. As we come over here, smash outward, creating all those little upward facing branches, and they're all lifting up. Oh, fabulous. Now, if we have any more paint left on this brush, let's come in and just do a crazy boom! Just a crazy bravery test right here. Just get up in there, light it up, and then make it dark. All the way down to the bottom. Nice and dark. Boom, boom, boom. Just the tip of the liner, or the fan brush. You can even see the angle like that, right? Oh, bring it down to wherever you want to have it. Now, let's say we had a bit more of that darkness on our brush with our crimson, black, and blue mix, which is why they're always in the same spot on my palette. You just mix them all up into this crazy thing. Come into here, really crazy dark bush. Hanging off the side. Gotta be thick. So get in there, make sure it's thick, drop it off the edge, right? Covering up all those spaces, and then maybe we'll come back with just a little bit of white on this side. All of our light's coming from this side, so we'll be catching this lighter area. Dropping down little pieces, and then it would get darker and darker and darker as it went back to the edge away from the light, right? And that's all you gotta do, guys. Think about it for just a quick second and go, okay, my light's coming from here. I obviously can't show the whole bush, right? I can only show a little bit of it. Josh says I gotta keep it dark. It's gotta stay dark in the shadows. What can I do? What can I do? Well, there you go, right there. Now, let's get that 198-mile-long Paint with Bram liner brush out again. This thing is about as long as it takes to get from Las Vegas to Knoxville, Tennessee. You could travel it on this brush. It is enormously long. It's about a 4-hour journey on a plane to get across this brush. We'll come over here like this, the 198-meter-long Paint with Bram liner brush. But let me tell you, that as much crap as I talk, it is the sharpest, skinniest. Like, my little branchy trees have never been better. Never. Since starting using this this gigantically long, enormous liner brush from the Paint with Bram set. It's incredible. It's humongous. It will change your trees for the better. I'm telling you, and it's not because he's my buddy, my close personal friend. It's because the brush is friggin' rad. If I didn't like the brush, you guys know me, I just wouldn't talk about it, right? I wouldn't say, oh, it's a bad brush, because that would crush his spirits. I just wouldn't speak about it. If it, I'd just be like, oh yeah, I know I used it. I did the one video, I used it. But no, we use it all the time. That is the attestment to the phantasmism of the brush. And we're just over here making up words. I don't even care. Let's make up some new ones. It's just literally amazing. I love this brush. It's fantastic, baby. Cadmium. Cool little stuff you can do with this sucker. And it does take some getting used to, but once you've mastered it, boy oh boy, you can create some cool looking trees with that 97-mile long liner brush from Paint with Bram. It is awesome. No joke. Let's take a little of our color over here, nab up some of this guy. Gonna come off of our side just like this. We're leaving a little area of dark in between the areas of light. Right, so I don't want to touch the entire tree all the way around, and I want to have a bit of darkness even on the left side of the tree trunk. It helps make it look round, just a little bit though. And then we come back in here towards our middle and we start tapping. Right, we're just tapping, kind of working in that color, letting it blend down to whatever it wants to be, trying to leave little split areas. Gets darker and darker and darker along the back side of the tree, leaving that one little piece out there. Now check this out. And this little guy. Boop, a little bit of light right on the top of him. Bink, just like that. Catch your eye coming right out of that river. Just like that, guys. You guys already know. You already know. Let's come up in here. A little tap over there. Little guy over there, right? You don't have to light up the entire tree branch. Just a little bit of it. Very cool. Now, since we have some of that tree trunky color, let's come in and just light up a little area of our tree trunk of our branch in here. Now, we're going to go back and we're going to cover over the majority of it with our highlights, but it may stand out. It's just a little teeny tiny touch of a tree trunk out there in the night sky, or whatever we like to say. Okay, this guy's too far away to worry about, right? He's way off in the distance. All he's back there for is a little bit of depth, right? We don't need to do much on him. Now, in any case, we could go back just the slightest little bit on this guy back here. And just add the teeniest, tiniest little things. Just, that's it. Nothing crazy. You don't want it to be too bright. You just want to have a little bit of branchies on him back there. That's all he needs, baby. Now we're going to come in with our liquid white. Going to come over here. We're going to grab up some more blue. And our blue is going to go on our shadowy sides of our trees, right? We're not trying to smush on the blue so heavily that we're covering up all of the darkness or mushing all of our little branch little shapes, right? Not trying to do that, just trying to put on some blue back in there. You see all the dark bits still? Can you guys still see them? Because they're there. They're back there. They're waiting. They're like, hey, give us some highlight to bounce off of. We don't really make any sense back here right now, right? Just like that. And come back. We got another little guy over here. Boop. Just off the back side. Doesn't need too many things. Not trying to cover too much. Don't need to have too much of anything on there. Okay, I'm telling you from experience. You don't want to have too many little bright areas or too many little dark areas or too many places where it's just like, what is that? Right? You gotta have some bits of shadow, bits of blue, bits of dark. Keep them all. Now we're gonna go back and highlight it all with some gorgeous white. It's gonna be fantastic. Wicked cool. Okay. Now let's come back in here. Get a little of our nice little clean brush going. Clean me, the brush said, please. Please, he's begging. Come over here into our white, off to the edge. It's pulling a little bit of blue, which is okay. Again, we don't need it to be the purest of purest whites. That's not what the game is about. Come over here, tap, go in, little smacks, out on the edges of our branches. And then we go over our trunks a little bit, back across our, light sides into the shadowy side, just to help it blend. Again, not every single piece is going to be exactly the same. It's not going to all be perfect. Right? They don't all have to be perfect. Perfect is a matter of perspective anyway. Grab them in. A couple little bits right in there like that. Next little guy. Come in here. Tappy taps. Tap, 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 tap. Not every branch has to be the same amount of brightness. Right? There. Little pieces, guys. Fill it in where you think you need it, but don't leave or don't cover it too much. You don't want to have all those dark areas covered. You have to have them exposed. They like it. They're like, I don't know, expressionists or nudists or whatever. They like being out there. You can't cover up all that dark space. You come in like that, smack. Even on our light side, I'm not trying to cover all of the dark branches, right? Some of the branches are in the back. They're not getting hit by the by the light out here. So we don't need to see everything, right? Not every single piece has to be visible. Back across, you don't want to cover up all your dark spots. Look at that beaut. That's a beaut if I ever did see one. Man, lots of depth in this guy right here. Pop, because there's lots of dark areas. There's lots of space in there, right? Very cool. Now, let's come over here. Wash off that brush again. And let's see what goes down when we do something else. Now, we've got a whole bunch of rocks and foreground down in here to fill in, if you catch my drift. It's looking really cool. Very neat. Ooh. Ooh, it's chilly over here, guys. It's so cold. Oh, it's so cold. All right, let's come back in. At the base of this guy, I'm going to grab a little of my white. Grab it down in here. Drop on just the top of that dark separator, and then we have a little bit of water that you can work out, mix up back and forth. All sorts of crazy. Remember, this painting is available at paintwithjosh.etsy.com. And the person that purchases it gets to spin the Paint with Josh Spinny Winnie Wheel for a chance at a prize. And yes, I called it the Spinny Winnie Wheel. I know. I'm still working on a title for it. I don't know what to call the dang thing. But, yeah, any person that takes a spin on the Spinning Winnie Wheel gets a free gift. So if you purchase the painting, you end up getting a free gift, whether it be a hat or a shirt or a hoodie or a backpack, something. You get some free gift action from spinning the Spinny Winnie Wheel. So if you want to get over there, make sure you purchase this painting or any painting during the show, right? Got to be during the show. And you'll get your chance at the Spinny Winnie Wheel. Very cool. Very, very cool. Just like that. Now, let's come in maybe with a bit of our dark mix again. So we need a little bit of blue, black, and crimson as we mix them up into this deep, dark, purpley shadow down here. Just fantastic. What Bob always said, you can't show the dark, or can't show the light without having the dark, right? It seems like that with everybody's day as well. Sometimes you have a really bad day, and those real good days are only good because those bad days came around, and you know what it's like to have a bad day, right? Let's come in here, come across all that light color, right? Just blacking out everything. Maybe we drip a couple of them down like little stalagmites over that mist. Looks kind of cool like that. Bring it around, cover over our waterfall just a bit. Doesn't have to be crazy, just a bit, right? Hold down that dark color, and then we can go highlight it with whatever we want it to look like. Maybe drop some more little bits of grass off the edge, something. Some little bit of something. And we'll take a little bit more of that dark mix, chuck it up into here. Right? All these little wiggles, little things. We got our waterfall tearing its way through the rocks over time and eons and centuries. Tearing its way through the rock, cutting back and forth. Dudes, what if we did like a giant thing right here? Just like dark, whole bunch of darkness right in here. Squiggle it down, covering over the back. See what I mean? You just seal it all the way around. Scrape it in. Be all connected to that big old chunk of rock back here. Looking really cool. All right, but we need enough paint to fill it all in. So, fill it in around the bottom. Then we'll come back, grab up our brush, and start to smooth it out, kind of finishing it off, spreading that darkness all the way to the edge. Really catching it. And we come down here, pop it out a little bit, right down through the side. Like that. We have our blue water sneak its way back in here just by pushing it. Just like so. Wicked cool. Take that guy, drag him out this way. Very neat, very neat. Put a little bit of white right in here at the base of where our water is coming out of. So awesome. Now, let's come back, grab a bit of that white, bit of our blue, so we can make up our shadowy mix. Just like so. Remember, we don't want it to be too bright, so get a bit of our darkness. Bang, come back in here. Off the back sides of some of these little rocks, we're gonna have that bluey color, right? So off the underside, off the back sides of the little peaks, maybe back in there, there's gonna be some of that little blue. All depends where you want it to be, in which areas, which direction we pull our knife is all how it's gonna play differently, right? So now if we go back and get our white, bring it over here, Mix that sucker up like it was. Have our little snowy color. So again, it's not pure white. Got a little twinge of blue to it. A little stinker of blue in there. Right, and this guy grabs, drops down. Starts bringing it around. We don't want to take the color all the way to the back. Right, off the side over here. And you get this whole little rock that starts climbing its way up there. Right, just covering off the top with our light colors. Whipping it down, not trying to grab everything, right? Just little bits. Having our little shadow back there. Very cool. Very cool. We can bring our guy down here like this. Come down and try to reach our water, right? Just little rocks, having that darkness off the back though. You don't have to go crazy bright all the way to the edge. It's gonna look funky in most cases. Definitely gonna look funky in most cases. Come off back here. A little bit of our bluey color off the backside. Where's the backside? Just so we have that little indication that we wrapped around. It's not a total perfect thing, but it's something there. Whoop! Dropped my brush. Holy cow! I dropped my brush. It literally shot like all the way under the table. Oh goodness! There we go. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right, guys. Now come back and get that little bit of white on the edge, on the top over here of our lighter color, kind of letting it fall down in different places. Doesn't have to grip everywhere. You want to have little pieces of dark. Doesn't have to be the brightest thing on every single part. Right over here, we'll flow off. Little bits, little things. Crazy. A little crazy look to him. Now, what if we can get just a good amount of white onto our brush right here and just drop off. There we go. Have that real thick paint onto the brush and just get it to come off like that. Oh, little diamonds in the sky. Fantastic. They're going to take a while to dry, but going to be worth it. Going to be worth it. Dragging them back just a little bit. Just kind of feeding back into our water. Little glimmers. Very cool. Very cool. I want to know what's back there in that little cave. That seems like a neat place to be. Back in this little spot back there. Hiding. Something's hiding back there. Okay, guys. Well, let's see. What else can we do? We come in here with a bit of water line right around the edge. Make it all squiggly. Little squiggles, little squiggles. And that water get all crazy and tumultuous. And then, of course, we gotta come back in and spray in a bit of our water line, like a bit of our water onto the canvas, just right here with our liquid white on a teeny tiny brush. We come in here and we start flicking out little bits. All right, that guy's not so big. He doesn't need so many little flicks. And this guy, he's a little further away, but he's much bigger, so we might be able to see a couple little flicks on him as they're flying out. Just adds so much depth to the painting. It's literally insane how much depth that adds. It's just crazy. We go over to the side, down, down, down. Boom. Beautiful, you guys. Just so pretty. Well, like that. Wash this guy off. So you guys are going to start to have to come up with a name for this painting. You got to come up with a name. You got to help me name it. That's got to be an ice cold something or other. Ice cold double falls something blah, blah, blah. Who knows what it is? But you guys got to let me know the name. I've named too many to figure it out by now. We've named way too many paintings by now, so I'm counting on you to give me a name. Thank you, Angela John Hoosier. Love it. Icy Woods, Frozen Adventure, Frosty Pool, Winter's Frost. I like that too. You guys got some awesome titles in there, dudes. Awesome little titles. It's cold. Frostbite. I like that one too. Turquoise Falls. I dig that. It does kind of have a turquoisey feel. A little turquoisey feel. Frigid Serenity. Frosty River. Diamonds in the Sky. I like that. I like it, guys. And remember, if you end up purchasing this painting, you get to choose the name, as well as win a free gift off of the big spinny wheel that we have. And we'll spin it. Whatever it lands on, that's what you win. So let me wash off these brushes. You guys think of some titles. Start typing them in the comments. Maybe, just maybe, yours will be chosen. You will be the chosen one. You shall be the chosen one. It is a great honor to be the chosen one. Holy moly! All right. That. Just a couple more brushes, guys, and I'll be right with yous. Just be right with yous. All right, guys. Let's see. So, I wonder who's got the best title out of everybody watching. There's one person out there that has the absolute best title for this painting. But we're not going to know what that is unless you comment and tell us what that best title is. And once we know, then we'll be able to name it that. Right? Imagine that. Walking around telling your friends, you know what? Did you see the Paint with Josh show? I named that painting. I got to name the Paint with Josh painting for tonight. Did you see the painting that I named? I know, it's hilarious. It's hysterical, I agree, studio audience. But if you don't type out any names, then how can I choose you? How can I choose your title if you don't put one out? How is it possible? All this paint all cleaned up, ready to go. Maybe I might just come back for another show if this painting's sold. I don't know if it's sold though. If it did sell, maybe I'll come back for a second show, and if not, then definitely not coming back for a second showing of the evening. Let's see. But we could do like an ocean scene, a sunset. Black canvases? Oh, I got many, many, many black canvases we could do. Many black canvas paintings. Do a portal. Do a portal, waterfall, seascape. Bro, so many ideas. But, all right, well, let's put our birds on. And then once the birds are in, that's literally the last piece of the puzzle. So, we'll come over here. Grab up a little bit of our darkness. Just a little touch of it. Nothing too crazy. I don't want to have it be too thick, especially on this giant brush. This enormous, mile-long liner brush. Let's see. It makes the most amazing birds, though, too. Just the sharpest little. Amazing! I don't care what you guys say. I love it. I love it, and that's all that matters. Just an icy cold waterfall. Woo! Freezing! I'm freezing, you guys. It's so cold. What are we going to do? Here we go. It's so cold, I might have to eat one of you. I might have to eat you all. Let's see. Like the Donner Party. So I'm eating everybody. Over here, over there, and down, and over, and down. Perfect. Okay. Well, guys, I'm going to end the show over on YouTube and Facebook. I love you all. We'll hang out on TikTok for just a few minutes and chit-chat, and I might just come back for a second show later on TikTok. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, get over there and make sure you're following Paint with Josh K over on TikTok. That's where I will be, maybe, later on. Maybe. We'll see. If this painting's sold, we'll see. If not, don't count on it. Don't count on it. All right. Let's see over here. Got everything done. So, love you guys over on YouTube and Facebook. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. Ba-bow. Ba-boom. It's over.